We're back, and we are going to talk about what it takes to have long lasting love. What are the components while you meet somebody and as you start to get to know them and begin a relationship? What does it take? What are some of the things that are most important to give you that lasting love that you desire? How to keep it, and what are some of the things that get in the way of that? And I am thrilled to have my dear friend Gary Salyer in the house because he's just, he is such a wonderful, wonderful coach, relationship coach, a relationship mentor. Actually, let me just tell you exactly what his bio says. He's a transformational relationship mentor. And for the last decade, Dr. Salyer has been in private practice offering singles and couples heart-centered transformation so that they can rewrite the rules for love in their brains and create a love that lasts. So if you're looking for a love that lasts, we're going to dive into the components. Let me just say, Gary's been all over the place, talking on TV and radio shows, on Hay House Radio. I can tell you all his credentials, but I think you want to hear from him. So let's say hello to Gary. Hello, my dear friend.
Hello, Junie. It's great being here again. Always good to talk to you.
So good to talk to you too. I mean, Gary's the kind of person, not only is he a brilliant mentor and coach, he's just such a giving, loving soul. And I'm so happy that you're my friend and so happy to have you back because this is not your first rodeo on Midlife Love Out Loud. And I wanted you back because you have so much to offer. So let's just dive in. Our listeners, our watchers, are people that are usually in the beginning stages of either dating or in their relationships. And there are certain ingredients for this magical soup we call long term. And there are certain pitfalls, certain ingredients we don't want for this amazing recipe. And I'm just curious, what sets the stage, in your opinion, to have that long lasting love?
Well, there's a lot of things that set the stage, okay? But if there's a bottom line, a lot of people seek love, but another part of them is a little leery. It's not safe. So you get an approach avoidance. Some part wants it, some part doesn't, right? And it's almost like if you've gone out to eat and you've ever had a problem with pepperoni and you love the pepperoni on the pizza, but there's some people going, remember the last time we had pepperoni, right? But it's a little more serious than that. When I wrote the book Save to Love Again, that's really the bottom line. And then of course, what creates safety is that you have to feel that, that in a relationship that you're worthy to have a good relationship. Most of us were given a feeling of unworthy. And so we don't reach out for real love. We reach out for the half version of it because that's all we were given the rights for.
Right. Let me just accept the crumbs because at least I'm getting something, and I really don't deserve the whole meal. Let me just have a bite. That's good enough because I may not get it.
Exactly. And love is meant to be a smorgasbord.
Yeah, buffet. We want a buffet.
We want the buffet. If they say they didn't feel so cherished and protected, either in a former relationship or usually in childhood, then they're going to think, man, I have to do this all on my own. Or can I really, really, really trust this thing called a relationship or love? Or sometimes when love wasn't there enough, they're going, I'm going to lock this thing down. The lockdown drives away people who go, wait a minute. It's one thing to make requests. It's another one to try to manage me and every part of me. Because in real relationships that are secure, you have a right to separate and do your own thing, but also expect that you're to come together and be a we, me and we. And a lot of people, they don't know how to navigate me and we. They hear
That's
from
huge.
culture,
Yeah.
it's all me, all self-actualization. I'm doing Maslow, but Maslow doesn't do a we very well.
Mm, mm.
And Maslow forgot about that, I think. I would I would put we actualization above me actualization, and I would put another floor on the house, right? And then, some people feel like they have to lose themselves in relationships and then deeply resent it. They don't feel empowered.
Yeah.
So we have to figure out what form of unsafety did we get, and then we have to give ourselves the other feelings. That's the deep work. A lot of people are thinking, oh my God, it's there's so many scammers on the internet, there's so many guys and gals that don't show up authentic. Those are not the droids I'm looking for. I'm looking for the ones that say the feeling of unworthy. It says, oh my God, he just texted me and it seemed so good and then he didn't. If you feel worthy, that's like, wow, looks like they lost something valuable. Move on. If
Yeah.
you feel unworthy, it's like, oh my God, what's wrong
with me? Exactly, exactly. I mean, so many people come to me and they're like, "What am I doing wrong with my profile?" and all, and I'm afraid to be online because of scammers and all these disaster stories. And that's just one piece, that, yes, there are strategies for
Yeah.
online, but the biggest thing you're talking about, and so in alignment with you, is what's going on inside of the person. What are they, what are they bringing? How are they, to the table? How are they feeling? Because that's gonna either help them move forward or push people away, or, just not be able to stay the course because all their emotions might be getting in their way.
The real core is what feelings, and it is feelings, are running the ship. What feelings are dictating your relationship choices, who you go out with, and who you stay with, and also what feelings you are giving to another person. Say you're one of these people that feel like you lose yourself in a relationship, therefore I have to manage them. Well, that gives a feeling of real disempower to the other person.
Yeah.
And we think, oh my God, they're just avoidant. No, they're not. I can still remember one couple I dealt with in which she complained that he was a real first-class avoidant. She had read the book Attached, and he only responds to 50% of my text. Sure enough, when I got the husband in the session, it's true. He only responded to 50% of the text, 30 out of 60 while at work. If you say, 30 times he tried to respond and 30 he couldn't because he was at work, that's a Herculean expense. But for her, this is like, see,
Yeah, proof.
the micromanagement of the relationship at work, at home, not so empowered. And for her, so that feeling of when does love go away was driving people away. And I see that so often with those with anxious attachment. They are micromanaging people, and the secure will not be. The man or woman who will give you real love will not be managed. They will join with you. They will create a teamwork with you, but that's not the same.
What you just said, the guy who is really ready to be there and secure. They say that again.
Well, the guy or gal who is really ready for love is feeling empowered. Will give you that sense of empowerment. They will not take disempowered.
Right.
They will not take it, and nor should they, because they won't give it either.
Yeah. Right.
Now, if for the anxious, but you won't let me micromanage me. That's because this is not what you're giving is not a secure relationship.
Correct.
There's, trust me, the last thing I would want to give to my wife is a feeling of, I need to run your life. I need to check in with you. If I,
for both of you, how exhausting for you to have to micromanage her, and how horrible for her to have to kind of give away her power, or to have to jump through your hoops. I mean, that's welcome to my first marriage.
Well, I can remember, maybe 15 years ago dating a woman who was, mean, she was an entrepreneur like me. There was an upside there, right? And we even did one event that wasn't even on Love Together, right? But there was this constant, you know, oh, what's on that text message? And sometimes it was clients texting me. I go, well, no, you can't read it. Why can't I? What are you hiding? And I go, well, I'm not hiding anything. And at some point, I realized that anxiety could not be, uh, extinguished, and it was going to mess with my calling, which is
Yeah.
to do. And so she was not offering me the same, and it just couldn't work because I was never going to control her, nor could I allow it.
Yeah.
Now that's different than the avoidant who says, no one's going to be in control of me. My mother was controlling, my daddy was, and I'm never going to do it again. That's not the same thing. There's a difference
Yeah.
between doing it out of fear
Yeah.
and doing it out of integrity with what I call relationality.
That's so brilliant. That's so brilliant because we need to shine a light on that. It's like, are we coming from a healthy, aligned place, or are we coming from the unhealed place? And what is it that we're truly bringing to the table when it comes to relationships? Because when you are coming from that integrity, you're not going to accept the crumbs. You're not going to accept the bad behavior. It's not going to feel right, and you're going to spot it right away. That's why I love what you and I do. It's like helping people see, oh, wait a second, that's not going to be a fit for me because this is who I am now, and that's unhealthy for me and for the relationship. But when we come to that relationship more whole and more clear, we have so much more to give, and we're not gonna accept anything less
Yes.
than that.
And notice, people will often say in attachment books that the anxious micromanage. That's nice for your prefrontal cortex. That's nice. It's a nice pattern. It's nice to understand that. But I am interested what feeling is driving the urge that if I don't micromanage this, all hell will break loose, or love will go away, or I
Right.
won't feel good enough.
Right.
It is the feeling that is driving it. Now, I know that might be weird for a man to say that. And if you are a man out there, you need to pay attention to the F word more, the feeling word.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And really notice if it is coming from a place that's not secure love, you can't give it. And if you're looking out there, one thing I learned myself is, the securely attached, the person that can really build a quality we with you and give you the feelings of welcomed and worthy and cherished and empowered, they will expect it back. So this research points out that the secure find another secure person 85% of the time because they want that back. That's what secure means. It's a full right to love and be loved right back. And if you haven't done the deep work to show up truly secure, and it's doable and it's possible. I don't care what you've gone through. I've done it. I've come from there myself.
Me too.
So you do have more power within you. You are more this than you know.
Yeah.
But if you don't come, the secure will selectively weed you out in very subtle ways, leaving you with the anxious and the avoidant to contend with. It's what I call a mirroring universe. The universe isn't rewarding or punishing, it just mirrors. And I can think back 30 years ago after the first divorce, and realized there were some really cool women that were, and I didn't believe it, but several of them said, "You're not ready." And when I look back at those, what they were saying is, you're not ready means is you're not secure.
Yeah. Yeah. Got some work to do.
Yes, exactly. And so you got to be the partner you'll want to be. Most of us have a long list of what we want out there. How many people look at that and go, and yeah, I want this, this, and this. And sometimes you can see a list of 60, 70 people. And then you think, what? And sometimes I ask clients, okay, so they want all that. You want all that. They're going to want it back. And it's like, yeah. So shorten it up and realize that you have to, the thing I have found that led me most to the beautiful relationship I'm at is the more I worked on being the love I wanted, the easier it showed up.
And that's what I wanted to just really underline is how are we being, and like you said, the reflection. The list is great, and sure, make the list of all the wonderful qualities you want, and then ask yourself, am I being that? Am I showing up like that? It's interesting. I hadn't thought about this until this conversation. I mean, I think about all of this all the time, but I was thinking how my partner is uber fit. Like he's so uber fit. He's healthy. He's focused on health, and
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
every time he takes his shirt off, I'm like, whoa, man, this is like, didn't see this coming, but I didn't see it coming. And you know why? Because most of my life I have felt fat. I have felt, I not fit. Who would want me in this body? Like all of that friggin' dialogue. And I have taken really good care of myself for years. And I exercise, I eat well. And yeah, my body is a little softer and curvy. And I had this belief because of all this indoctrination in our culture that I'm not fit. You know, Interestingly enough, and really this is just like fresh off the press, I just recently in the last few years was like, you know what? I am really healthy and I am really fit. I just don't look like that fit person over there. This is a fit, healthy Junie Moon. And who did I call in but somebody who loves to hike and loves to exercise and loves to eat really well? Never in my wildest dreams did I think someone like that would be into somebody like me. But ultimately, I'm amazing and I am fit and beautiful. I just had to get there. So, how I shifted in my being was another piece of the calling in my partner. Just something
Yeah,
I was just thinking of.
and I know enough from talking to you as a friend that he gives you a beautiful relationship with these
Oh,
feelings I'm talking about.
yeah.
I remember right after the divorce, I was once, this may not look like it, but I was once asked to be on the Men of Cow calendar. I don't think I've ever said to that. And I
On the
was
man of what?
the Men of Cow calendar. Somebody wanted me, and I worked out and I was buff and all, and I jogged and I was in great shape in my mid 30s, right? And I was 38 and they wanted a graduate student. They thought I was 20 and the whole thing. And I remember going on a date and I'd gone out a couple of times and I said, so why are we dating? Why are you dating me? She goes, oh, I love your body. She goes, I'm dating you for body.
Wow.
And I'd never had that. I remember telling one of my female friends that, and she goes, welcome to our world.
I was just going to say, we usually hear it the other way.
Welcome to,
She's so hot. I'm going to date her for her body. Wow. Okay.
I got it, and that isn't, and I thought, now a lot of men think, oh, great, but I was thinking, man, if I want to be loved, this is not the key. There's a Goldilocks zone that you can have people that just settle just for the body-based stuff, and that's a form of unworthy too. How many times have you met women that think I'm good looking, but they don't understand they deserve more than just an appraisal sheet on their body, right?
Yeah.
And then, so I don't think men get this as much. That one was an eye opener to me that I really am looking for something deeper, right? But you want someone like you that also all that is wonderful. But I also know what he's doing a good job at is making you feel loved.
Yes,
And
and the body thing is just a bonus.
yes,
The fact that he cooks is a bonus, but how he
oh, he
is,
cooks too.
he freaking cooks too and cleans. I mean, who is this guy?
Oh, the whole joke that of the guy with it in an apron with, I saw it years ago. It was funny. He was at a vacuum sweeper and he's cleaning and he's vacuuming. He's got an apron and it says, I don't know what, I think it was far as I said porn for women. you know, which,
Exactly. I have amazing porn. Um,
yeah, this is crazy.
oh my God, but it's
that's
true.
worthy. That's worthy. That's
Yeah,
a we.
yeah,
A guy
yeah.
that will cook is forming a we with you.
He loves taking care of me. He loves giving to me. He wants me to feel like the queen. And it's a give. It's a give
Yes.
give. We want to be the wind beneath each other's wings and we want each other to know how loved we are. And we have also been through the mill. We've also had the dysfunctional relationships and we've
Mhm.
done the work to get here to go,
Exactly.
I deserve to feel like this and be met like this, and I will not accept anything less. And that is how we found each other.
Now notice you've done the work to reclaim the feeling of worthy.
Yes.
And
yes.
I know enough from your history that at one time there was a feeling of unworthy running the show. And you even just referenced it.
Just a tad.
Notice the feeling of cherished and protected is in there. You guys form a we. Notice that you're giving each other's options to become your best self. That is empowered. Notice that implicit in this, it is not just that we can mentally analyze it, but all that left brain activity is not what's the glue here. It's all the right brain feelings. And if you're listening to this, you want a GPS for love that is based on these feelings we're talking about. Do you feel welcomed with joy? Do you feel worthy to reach out and have your needs met? And of course, they're going to meet my needs. I'm worthy, and cherished. Someone sees your essence like, maybe nobody else does, but they see the part of you that nobody sees and they just love it. And they want to create a we with you. You get to come back to the home port of somebody's heart, and you get to feel empowered with voice and choice. Those are the feelings. Now, we haven't talked much about welcome. Welcome is, I swear to God, every morning wake up, because we are so aware of, not having had love in our lives.
Yeah.
It is like two frigging kids at Christmas. Waking up, you'd think we hadn't seen each other.
I know the feeling. I know. Same for us. Yeah.
And you're just so happy to see each other.
Yeah.
There is nothing. It's not, I could tell Mim, 72% of the time that, you greet your wife or your partner with a hug and a genuine 5-10 minute emotional connection, that 72% of the time, if you initiate sex, you'll get a yes. If you don't, it falls to 6%. What's underneath that? Not feeling welcomed and worthy. You got to get track it. Because we can get into all this relationship advice, which is all good, but our attachment systems are creating and picking and creating and maintaining based on 4 feelings. Show me any relationship in distress that's got a few problems, and I'll show you a missing, welcomed, worthy, cherished, or empowered. If there's 2 feelings, then it's a problem, and 3 or 4 is toxic. I want you to notice that the GPS is 4 feelings. Little children at age 1, we can tell whether they're securely attached or not. It can't be rocket science if a 1-year-old knows they're loved at an implicit level. So if we go back and use our feelings to navigate after 5 or 6 days, how am I feeling? Do I feel these 4 feelings? Do the few things that work out? Am I worthy enough to work it out? Or 6 months in, okay, now that we've revealed ourselves, what are the feelings? Can we work on it? And if not, then you move on to someone that does. It will not be every moment. Nobody gives these perfectly. I have not gotten to that point. But worthy and cherished means, hon, that action, that thing I said back there, I think I could have said that better. That wasn't as attuned.
Being aware. And so, well, I love that, in 6 months, you've gotten to know each other, you've gotten into that groove, and maybe you're seeing some of the emotions, some of these pieces are not where you want them to be. And I'm curious, Gary, it's like, so there's I'm noticing I'm not feeling cherished, or I'm noticing I'm not feeling welcomed. So there's are they not giving that to me, or am I creating that? So how do you help people discern those 2? Because a lot of people like to point fingers. He's not showing up for me. He's not listening to me. I don't feel, and then out the door, and then they repeat the pattern.
Okay. Whenever we have these feelings, we do pick people that will give it back.
That's
why I called it missing right. You don't have a full right for better, so you pick someone to give you that what you got the rights for. But our attachment, we're complex. We will, if they don't give it back, we will prod them to give it back, to give it to us.
Yes.
And if they're real jerks, and they simply don't, they always show up secure, they won't give it back, that feeling that we're trying to prod them, then we'll just simply project it. What's that look like? I remember I've talked about this in my book. He showed up and he just started talking about, I mean, he didn't feel very worthy, and I don't think he felt very cherished. He would have felt said, respected as a man. And what it came down to is he came in telling me all the ways he was being cut off, got cut off in traffic, got cut off at work. And there was an imprint at 9 of being of someone cutting him off in a line. A teacher did it, and he knew he'd be the last one to get the ice cream cone or whatever it was. And sure enough, he was the first one who said, sorry, we don't have any. But the feeling of cut off was all over him. The fact of the matter is his wife just thought, he says, I'm even being cut off from sex at home. But the fact of the matter, he was so loading up, I'm going to get cut off. He never initiated, never asked, and she just thought he wasn't interested.
Exactly.
His boss didn't think he was all that aggressive, so he never got the raise. The fact of the matter was, especially in his relationship with his wife, the feeling was creating an adaptive pattern to protect itself. And that protection prodded the very thing that he was, where he said, see, I told you I'd get cut off. Whereas no, she was not cutting off. She just was accepting the fact that love didn't flow between the two of you because you were so busy protecting yourself. Now, notice,
and cutting himself off from her. I mean, he was literally creating this environment with everywhere and every person and everything because of his fear of being cut off. And then he protected himself by cutting people off in so many different ways.
Exactly. It's anytime there's a missing feeling, one of these missing rights, as I call it in my book, there is a protector child. You can bank on it. And that protector child will protect you like a 5, 7, or 8-year-old who is looking at adult power and relationships from the eyes of a 5 or 7-year-old, right? I guarantee you, and couples especially, what shows up in an argument is usually not 2 wounded children, but 2 protector parts dueling it out. And imagine if you bring them into initial dating and they are saying, well, I'm never going to get hurt again. It's one thing looking out for scammers. It's another thing when there's a part that says, yes, all men, all women are scammers. Or you're operating, you wouldn't say that logically, but you're operating like that because this is all emotional stuff. Finding a lasting relationship is dealing with your protector parts. I mean, I had 2 protector parts for myself. A scared 4-year-old who was afraid of ever speaking his truth or saying no to a mentally ill mother. Mm-hmm. And an 8-year-old mouthy kid who couldn't speak his truth at home, so he got cocky and arrogant and jerky with people elsewhere. And I can let neither of those 2 kids out. And there's all sorts of flavors of adaptive children, but if you're going to successfully date those and then create a relationship, you've got to notice when your protector parts are showing up, and you have to be able to have a more secure conversation with them before you're ever going to have a secure conversation with a prospective person that might just be a soulmate,
right.
or not. Yes.
Right. Your soulmate might be right in front of you. And if your protective part is in control in the driver's seat, it's going to infect the opportunity. And we need to spot them. But it's so much even more than just spotting them. We need to clean up our side of the street because we bring that into a relationship. Yeah, I think relationships are the best incubators, crucibles for healing. However, how much are you bringing, and what what's going to happen when you go full out with your protector part, as you would say? It's going to be challenging, and relationships are challenging as it is. Life is full. So, how we're being and what we're bringing to that dating experience or that relationship, we need to work on ourselves. We need to clean up as much as we can.
It's about releasing past relationship pain.
Yeah.
I mean, not every protector part, if you've gotten really hurt or burned, you can have adult versions of it. I know that after my first divorce, I started generalizing all women. And now my therapist was making a game of it. Some women. And it
Smart
became a
therapist.
mantra. I'd say all, she'd say some, all, some, all, some. And it wasn't until I was at a party and I let it slip out, one of my more jaded moments. And this woman looked at me and says, man, I'd like to see the woman that did the number on you. It was one woman, wasn't it? Just one.
Wow.
and
Wow.
and
What a perfect moment.
and then I dated somebody. And she says, I don't deserve this crap from your first wife. I have never done this stuff.
Yeah.
And between those two moments, I realized, man, you are showing up as Mr. Wrong.
Yeah.
I am showing up as Mr. Wrong. And I thought, I had to have a long, hard look at ratting myself out first. I mean, this is what most people do. They point the fingers. You can point the fingers at the dating pool. All the men, all women. Now, this will carry over. You know how couples always point the fingers at each other? What's the first move in a willing relationship?
In a what relationship did you say?
In a winning relationship?
Winning relationship,
A
yeah.
losing strategy is saying, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. The rule is to look at, oh my God, we have to be a team against the pattern. And you have to really be able to rat yourself out first.
You know what? I have to jump in here. When you were doing with the two fingers, for those people that are listening, the finger pointing, and the two fingers are close together pointing at each other. It's like that. Is it a Japanese game where you put your fingers in and you try to pull it away, but you can't? You're like it. And the only way to get out of it is to move forward. Is to actually move forward, and then it releases the fingers. And so I think it's a yes and. Again, it's like there's fingers pointing back at us. What are we bringing to the table? And leaning in and going, I need to take responsibility. This is what's going on inside of me, and then rebuild and connect in that way. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, now there's some people will be listening who think I got to fix everything, and they take over responsibility. Okay. So I know that, everything I say has a certain context, right? Sometimes how many people say, oh my God, they were a jerk to me. What do I need to do to fix? That's appease and please. That's not what we're talking about here.
Yes.
But it's looking at your own attachment stuff. And, like I did, after that first divorce, and I realized a couple of years later, my God, I'm showing up as the jaded dude I said I never would. You have to be able to take a deep look at yourself and say, and not to make yourself wrong, like, okay, this is how my brain has learned to protect myself. Took the best deal available, but this best deal back then will cripple my love and relationship. It will not lead me to real lasting love. And you learn to love yourself up enough that you teach your brain. You have to be the one who leads your brain. The primitive parts will find all sorts of solutions. Good for them. They'll get you out of jams. But if you really want the sweet nectar of love and not just the old jam, just to make a weird pun, you have to be able to look at yourself. And there's an article for couples, and what was this title? Was something like, I found out what was wrong with my marriage, and it was me. Yeah.
Ouch.
Ouch. And I'm pretty sure a guy wrote that.
Yeah.
But,
oh my goodness.
But this is the deeper work. If you want lasting, you have to show up. What part of me doesn't know how to create a we?
Yeah.
What part of me
so smart.
maybe has a tendency to not speak my truth? Because you have to be able to rock, or I can't give feedback. I build it up because I don't speak my truth. And then out comes a tsunami of criticism, and you wonder why they don't want to listen to it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So, and the point, you go, see, it's just like childhood. Nobody wants to listen to me. Well, no. And then you get feedback. You have to know how to give feedback. You have to know that whatever I am upset about, if I'm upset with her, I do not speak my truth until I have said it in a way that cherishes and protects her. It's not just about my own empowerment. It is. I am empowered to speak my truth in a way that cherishes and protects her. Now, notice, I don't stray far from these feelings.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. And, that's one of the biggest things that I see that blow things up is people don't take a breath, don't take a beat when something happens to like look at themselves and go, okay, what is actually going on here? What am I contributing to this drama or whatever they want to call it? And get centered and then come into the conversation. These are the things that repair the relationships versus throwing a bomb into it because you haven't taken a moment to process it. Such gold here, Gary. So, Gary, you have Dr. Gary's Guide to Lasting Love, the secure path to release your past relationship pain and create the love you deserve. That is a special gift that he has for you. Will you share a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, it's a beautiful video gift that, I thought, I wanted to start wherever you're at. And notice I give you the feeling of empowered with choice. There's 3 versions of it. There's a version for people who are afraid to date. They're not dating. They're thinking, is it good to get my toes back in the pool again? Or is there
Yeah.
any sharks in there? But, the people that feel when they think about the dating pool, they hear do, 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 do. Those people. Well,
Yeah.
if you're there, we help you deal with the shark music. That one. And there's another version.
You're funny.
We got to get that out of the water, man.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
there's the people that are on Groundhog Day. They're dating and they keep having the same painful breakup, the same painful partners.
Yeah.
And we want to get you off Groundhog Day, and back into picking the right one. And there's another one. If you are dating, you could be, a married couple, or much past the 5th or 7th date, you're getting into couple dynamics anyway. If you have coupled off, say in the first 6 months or the first year, and you're wondering whether it's right, is this the one for life or not? And you're thinking, how do we work this thing out or not? Then there's a gift for that. So no
Oh
matter
my God,
where
that's
you're
amazing.
at, those are the 3 general paths that I run across. And so there's one that's right for you, and it's how to go from where you're at to what really builds lasting love on any of those 3 paths.
I love that gift so much. I love that it helps people identify like which is it what's the thing they need to focus on that you give all 3. That's so wonderful. We'll make sure that that's in the show notes.
Yeah.
Gary, this has been spectacular. Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Always fun. And, it's, and I just love the fact that we're good friends as well.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm so blessed. So blessed to have you in my life. Your work in the world is beautiful. I'm so glad I get to share it. And for those of you listening and watching, I know you got some good golden tips out of this. Definitely grab his video. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the station, please do. That's how we get to spread the word even more. And even better than that is think about one person in your life that might find some value with this topic because we want to help our friends. We want to bring more love into into life, and who better to give it to than to your beloveds. So definitely share. And there's more wonderful episodes coming up. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss anything. Until we meet again, have an amazing week. Mwah. One more thing before you go. Have you taken my Discover Your Love Avatar quiz? It's a 2-minute quiz that can help you not only know your strengths, your superpower, because you have one, also identify some of your blind spots, some of the things that might be having you in your fear, having you behaving in ways that aren't in alignment with your highest self, the way you want to be when it comes to dating and relationships. And it'll also help you discover why maybe the stars haven't lined up for you yet. Bottom line is, you take this 2-minute quiz, you get a full report in your email with details on how to move forward in next level love, whether you want a partner or not. So you can go to midlifeloveoutloud.com/love quiz. The link is in the show notes as well. And if you haven't liked and subscribed to the station, I'm going to encourage you to do that too, so you don't miss any episodes. And I hope you got a ton out of today's. See you next week. Mwah.